Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. You're listening to 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Today, I want to talk to you about something that can change the course of your life. No matter if you're 25, 45, or 65. And this is how to reinvent yourself at any age. So if you've been feeling stuck, uninspired, or feel like life has passed you by, this is your invitation to hit the reset button. And I want to share my own personal story with you to cement the fact that if I can do it, you can do it. I reinvented myself at 55 years old. I became a certified life coach and later a radio and podcast host. But before that day, when I saw the word life coach in a newspaper, I had no idea what a life coach was or does. And the more I researched the topic of what a life coach does, the more I realized I was born for this role. So you see, you can go all the way to 55, 65, even 75 without realizing your life purpose on this earth. But if you are open to the universe, um, uh, talking into your life and speaking into your life, sooner or later you will get the message. And when I got the message, it opened me right up. I mean, I knew immediately that that's what I was supposed to do. And you know what? I didn't procrastinate. 2 weeks later, I was signed up for a life coaching certification program at the University of Miami. Yes, when you get the call, act on it. Act on it. So, one of my guests even told me recently that she can read my aura. And my aura says that I'm an entrepreneur because I have a blue aura, which has to do with speaking, has to do with communication. So, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do, y'all. All right. But that actually was my third reinvention. My first reinvention is me leaving Guyana at 17 years old, leaving all my friends, leaving all my family. I had just graduated from high school and started a new job. I had a new boyfriend that I was in love with, and I cried like crazy because my mom, moved to Canada and decided to take her kids with her. Of course, she had to. But I went kicking and screaming. But then when I got to Canada, I reinvented myself again. I went looking for work, and this friend said to me, "Hey, why don't you go apply at the bank?" And without any previous banking experience, I went and applied, and I got the job, and she didn't get the job. So I started my banking career. So that was my first one, reinvention at 17. You might think it's a little early to call it a reinvention, but yes, it's reinvention because you left everything you knew and started a new life. But then my second intervention, or reinvention, I should say, was the one that I talk about all the time because it's what one of the experiences that led me to what I'm doing now. I was an entrepreneur, a limousine operator. I was 35 years old, and I went to a Tony Robbins seminar. How many of you, Tony Robbins changed your life? Well, he changed mine. I went to a Tony Robbins seminar that was called Unleashing the Power Within. And I walked out of that seminar saying that I was an entrepreneur and my internal power had been released. And guess what? I was great at being a limousine operator. I was great at this entrepreneur stuff. I became the top female limousine operator in Toronto, even winning the Entrepreneur of the Year award. Yes, and I've never looked back. I am an entrepreneur. I love people and I love, the interaction with people. That makes me a great salesperson. So, and if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know I have a personal story too. I did all this while I was healing from childhood trauma. That's also a reinvention, right? You leave the past behind, you leave the trauma behind, and you start off with a new story, with a new journey. And I did all these things while I authored three books. My latest book is called Out of the Snares, but I have two before that. I have, you know, um, Becoming Conscious, My Awakening, which was my first book. And my second book was called Minding Your Own Business. It's about a side hustle, teaching people how to be entrepreneurs. Okay. All right. So, why did I tell you all that? I told you all that to prove a point that you can reinvent yourself at any age. So, let's talk now about some myths that are keeping you stuck in toxic environments, afraid to move on. The first one is probably the most popular one. Says, I'm too old to start over. You know, when I lost my job at 50, there was this girl that was working with me, and she was very upset because she's thinking, who's going to hire me at 50? You know, hey, people think that way, but people right now are going back to school at 60. People right now are becoming lawyers at 65 and 70. I heard of some woman that just got her lawyer degree at 80. So you're never too old to do anything that you want to do. So take that out, right? And history is full of late bloomers. Vera Wang designed her first dress at 40. Colonel Sanders started his KFC at 65. You heard me, right? Started KFC at 50, 65, right? Walking around asking people to buy his recipe. And yeah, 65 years old. A lot of people would have thought, you're washed up. Why don't you just go retire and sit in your rocking chair? Okay. So, but there's a flip side to that. Age is actually your superpower. At 20, you have all the energy in the world, but little life experience. You can't teach anybody anything, right? You're still learning. But at 40, 50, and 60 plus, you have wisdom, you have perspective, and you have resilience because you've been through some stuff. The exact traits needed for a successful reinvention, right? So, number two fallacy is I would have to start from scratch. I don't want to start over. Truth is that we're never starting from scratch. You have a lifetime of experience that are the building blocks for your purpose in life. You're building on a lifetime of skills, lessons, and resilience. And every failure is life school. Every failure is teaching you what not to do, right? Take a page out of the book of um, the guy that created the light bulbs. I forget his name right now. He failed 10,000 times, right? So the third one is people will think that I failed. Truth is, reinvention is a sign of courage, not failure. Failure is being okay with an unsatisfactory life. Failure is living the status quo of mediocrity while you watch your friends have these wonderful lives, right? Number four is the myth, I don't know where to begin. The truth is that success leaves clues. Before Google, there were books, there was the library. Now there are 2 million podcasts with guests telling you how they did it. Clarity comes from action, not from thinking alone. So, if you want to know where to begin, pick up a book, read, Google it, right? And it tells you where to begin. Or everybody now, you just go on YouTube And everybody is selling a course and a webinar that's telling you how they did it, and now they want to teach you. So that is no excuse, right? So let me give you 5 steps that you can use to reinvent yourself. If you're saying to yourself, you don't know where to begin, I'm going to help you out. The first step is to get brutally honest about what's not working in your life. All right. This is not the time to don't have clarity. There is not the time to not know what you're feeling because a lot of people you ask them how they're feeling and they don't even know because they're not in touch with themselves, right? They just know that they're unhappy. They just know that they're depressed, but they don't know what's causing it, right? So the first thing you need to do is start journaling. Write it down. First thing you're going to say to yourself, if nothing changes in 5 years, how would I feel? Or you can go deeper. Have you ever heard of the rocking chair test? This is you sitting in the rocking chair at 80 years old and you're doing a life review. And what are the things that you're going to be sorry that you didn't do? What are going to be your regrets? Don't wait until you're 80. Do those things now because this is how you're not going to have regret when you're 80 years old. Right. So, number 2 is decide who you want to become, not who you think you should be, right? When my daughter was in school, she had guidance counselors that told her what jobs they think that she should be, and she did that for a little spell. She got her bachelor's degree in psychology because that's what the guidance counselors told her that she should do. And one day, she read a book, Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom, and immediately she was transformed. She recognized that she wanted to do something for the world, not just for herself, just like Nelson Mandela did. She reached out to schools and tried to get a master's degree in political science. And guess what? The universe conspired to help her. She got into the top political science school without not one essay or something on political science. When you are on purpose, the universe conspires to help you. So, what do you want to be? Not what someone says you should be. Utilize vision boards, value lists, role models to find out who you want to become. Do like I did. Buy magazines and clip out things you would like to do and have and put them on your vision boards, right? So that's how you do it. Number 3 is release your old story. Let go of labels and limitations that you carried for years. Become the director of your life movie and write the script for the movie you want to star in because you are the author and finisher of your life. God give you the beginning and he's going to give you the end, but in the middle, it's all you. You've got to fill in those pages, right? So write your story, direct it, and then be the star in it. Okay. All right. Number 4, take one bold step. Nothing moves if you don't. For example, if you want to do something that you're not doing now and you have no skill for it, sign up for a class. If you want to become an influencer, post your first video. Reach out to a mentor. If you want a new job or a new career, revamp your resume and start applying for jobs. If you want to be an entrepreneur, start a side hustle of the business that you're dreaming of. I told you, I wrote a book on this, right? Minding your own business. That means that you're minding your own business while you're working for someone else. That's where that concept comes from, right? Number 5 is surround yourself with possibility. Read books about people who have made it against all odds. That those people are going to inspire you. They're going to motivate you. Join new circles, have new conversations, put yourself in new environments. One of the suggestions that I took when I was, trying to manifest wealth was to become comfortable around, I should say, money and wealth, right? Go on tours of million-dollar listings. Go to the most expensive restaurant in your city and just order a drink. That means you're around rich people. Change your environments, right? Don't go to little watering hole. Go to places where you got to get dressed up, right? Where everybody is wealthy, driving up and going to valet parking with their Porsches and Lamborghinis and Ferraris, right? That's the environment you need to become comfortable with. And these things that you're doing is rewiring your brain, right? This is the newer science, neuroplasticity, they call it, because your brain is capable of growth and rewiring for life. It can be rewiring in your 90s if you're doing something different, right? It's rewiring all the time. So, in closing, right, I just want to recap what we've been talking about. You can reinvent yourself at any age. All you have to do is decide what you want to become and do it. Don't be afraid of failure or what people think, right? Because the people that you're worried about what they think, right? They're going on with their own lives while you keep being stuck in yours. Take one small, bold step. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So, whatever you want, see it first in your mind because whatever you hold in your head consistently will manifest in your hand. Remember, you're not starting over, you're starting ahead with everything life has taught you so far. The next chapter is yours to write. So if you're ready to take your first step, do something as simple as a public acknowledgement. Comment on this video or DM me on Instagram at Myrna M. Young with one area in your life that you're going to reinvent first. Let's talk about your next chapter. All right. Okay. So hopefully I'm done with reinventing. This is where I'm going to stay for a little bit. But like I've said, I've done it 3 times already. And age is nothing but a number. You can do it at any age. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. I hope you were inspired. Hey, and I'm looking forward to you DMing me and telling me your first bold step. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, namaste.